Hi, my name is Alice, and I'm from Rochester, New York. Please like and subscribe. You know how people say that when you meet the love of your life, time stands still and your heart skips a beat? Well, my dad had his own version of it.
Love feels like a bunch of fireworks exploding inside your heart.
That sounds dangerous.
Oh, honey, it's the most beautiful feeling in the world.
Dad always tells me about when he met Mom. He was playing on the subway, and when she stepped in, he felt fireworks go off inside of him, and that was it.
My life changed forever.
Our life changed forever. My mom was a big shot lawyer, and my dad worked as a music teacher at my own school. I inherited my dad's love for music, but wasn't into singing, so I used Mom's lawyer skills on them and convinced them to buy me a drum kit. My life was simply wonderful, but everything changed when I was 12. Mom got stuck on one big case and was working crazy hours, so there was no time for anything else, not even for me. For months, I kept bugging her to notice me, but the answer was always the same. Not now. I can't, Alice. Of course, this also led to fights between my parents. They used to argue in the kitchen at night when they thought I was asleep. Finally, one night, she just left. There were no explanations, no clues, no goodbye letter, nothing. It was a rough time, but my dad and I always stayed together. As time went by, we both started feeling a little bit better. Despite everything, I never stopped believing in true love, and I eagerly awaited the sensation my father had described so many times. When I turned 16, I witnessed the fireworks of love up close. I was at home cooking an egg when these bratty kids kept ringing our doorbell and running away. My blood was boiling, so I decided to teach them a lesson at the next bell. I flung open the door and spattered the egg right onto them. To my surprise, it was Luke, one of my dad's guitar students. He was one of the most popular, truly dreamy, funny, and kind guy in our school. Oh no. This egg. Lucky you. You just won a tuition discount from Dad. I quickly made this up, but he kept staring at me in complete awe. Then it happened. It struck him like lightning, just like my dad described. The whole fireworks and electricity package.
Hi, Alice. I love you.
But here's the twist. I didn't feel the same way. However, from that moment on, Luke embarked on a mission to win my heart, while I tried to refuse his advances without hurting him.
Flowers for you, Beaut.
Bees. It has bees.
I baked brownies for you.
Thanks, but I prefer vegetables. He invited me to the amusement park, but I pretended to be dizzy when he was gonna kiss me on the Ferris wheel. And then he also asked my father for my hand.
So, what do you think?
Tell him that he has to provide 4 sheep, 5 cows, and 1 unicorn in exchange. Yet Luke never gave up. And finally, he went all in. He performed for me on my balcony, singing the very same song my dad used to woo my mom back in the day. And I swear I could see Dad helping him the whole time. Then he asked the big question.
Do you want to be my girlfriend?
Luke, I like you, but
I'll take that.
I
It's a love story, baby. Just say yes.
know what you might be thinking. How could you not love Luke back? He sounds like the perfect guy. And you'd be right. He was everything I could have wished for, and more. He even quoted Taylor Swift for me. I decided I should give him a chance. Maybe the fireworks would appear slowly for me. Okay, let's do it. After a few months, things were going great. He was a great boyfriend, and I cared for him. One day, as we hiked up a hill, my foot clumsily met a cluster of rocks. I was about to fall when Luke grabbed my hand and held me.
Are you all right?
I nodded. The sunlight hit him just right, and he looked just beautiful. He leaned in and he rewarded my safety with a kiss. It was a scene right out of a movie. Come on, guys. You see? I tried, but I just couldn't help feeling nothing. By the time we reached the top of the hill, I decided to end things. Luke deserved someone who could truly love him. After a brief pause, I managed to muster the strength to share my feelings. However, as I looked at him, tears were welling up in his eyes.
Alice, there's something I have to tell you.
Yes, Luke?
I'm thrilled that we're together. I've been looking for the perfect partner for what feels like forever.
Tears began to fall down his cheeks, and I hugged Luke tightly. How could I break his heart after that? I just couldn't. I needed a new plan, a way to end things without hurting him. Just then, I got an idea. I needed to find my boyfriend a new girlfriend. Yet, it was easier said than done. Finding the perfect girl for Luke was certainly a tough mission. I introduced him to Sarah in a bowling alley, but it turned out she was only interested in using Luke to make her ex-boyfriend jealous. Alice. On trivia night, Claire and Luke had a heated argument about the best pizza toppings. They didn't get along after that. Lastly, how can I forget about Julie? When I introduced her to Luke at a party, it was pretty clear that she was more interested in me than in him, much to Luke's amusement. Of course, he knew nothing of my plan. I introduced so many girls to him, pretending they were my friends, but none of them sparked even the slightest explosion. Luke only seemed to have eyes for me. Darn him! After a few weeks of failures, I was about to give up hope. But then, right in my dad's class, the solution seemed to fall from the sky, almost literally.
Boys and girls, we have a new exchange student from South Korea. This is Moon.
That new girl seemed quiet, but she was a total stunner.
We have a little welcome tradition here. You've got to sing us your favorite song while standing upside down.
What? You could actually see Moon's soul leaving her body.
Kidding. But come on, it'll be a blast. So, which song are we going with?
For a brief moment, Moon seemed to be torn between making a mad dash for the exit, pretending to faint, or fighting my dad to ignore his request. Love Story by Taylor Swift. Bingo! That was the girl who was gonna sweep my boyfriend off his feet. I couldn't have been more thrilled. Above all, she had a beautiful voice. She was perfect for Luke. As soon as the class ended, I walked up to Moon. Hi, I'm Alice. That was amazing. Thank you. I just hope I don't have to do that to introduce myself in math class. Don't worry about it. The gym teacher might make you do some push-ups in front of the whole school, but apart from that, well, that's it. I'm going back to South Korea. She even had a great sense of humor. By the way, the music teacher who just made you sing in front of everyone is my dad. But don't hold that against me. I won't. He seems cool. He is, in his own unique way. Surprisingly, considering that if my plan worked, Moon would steal my boyfriend from me, the two of us immediately hit it off. I was happy to make a new friend, but the most important thing was that I had an inkling right from the start that she and Luke were a match made in heaven. I had to rush to my plan. By the way, I'm in a band. Ever considered becoming a rock star? A rock star? Sure, but only if we get to wear sunglasses indoors. Of course, you can't make great music if you don't look cool. With my master plan in motion, I organized a rehearsal in my garage for that same night. As usual, Luke and I began a friendly battle over which song to play next. But just as the tension was mounting, Moon made her grand entrance. Hi there. When Luke turned to meet her gaze, something magical unfolded between them. Their fireworks were so intense that for a moment, I thought the neighbors were bombing my house.
Hi, I'm Alice's Luke.
Nice to meet you, Alice, Luke. I'm Moon.
That's a beautiful name.
Moon turned red as a tomato.
I mean, it's cute. I mean, it's not a horrible name.
They were so awkward and cute that they looked like two penguins trying to dance. The first part of my plan was complete. Over the next few weeks, I did everything to bring my new friend and boyfriend even closer. I planned this adorable picnic for the three of us, but then I faked a stomach pain, so they both got time together.
Alice, are you okay?
Oh no, not again. What's wrong, Alice? It's my, pigmentitis.
Okay, let's go see the doctor.
Clearly, my plan failed. Next time, I took them to the movies to watch an old, sappy romantic film. Where's Alice?
She told me she wasn't coming because she hates Sandra Bullock.
She hates Sandy B? Is that even possible?
Right? I said exactly the same thing.
They watched the movie together. All the while, I was lurking secretly in the background. In a particularly romantic scene, their shoulders leaned against each other. They locked eyes, and their lips came closer. It seemed that it was the moment that...
Want some more popcorn?
Yeah, sure. So close. By the way, I, of course, don't hate Sandra Bullock. Slowly, I was running out of ideas and excuses. I even signed us up for a romantic bread baking class, only to remember right beforehand that I was gluten intolerant. Silly me.
Since when?
It's very recent. I don't want to talk about it. We can make gluten-free bread. It's not the same. Go on without me. Tragically, I had to keep up that lie and not eat a sandwich in front of them for way too long. Oh, the lengths I went to. But despite all my efforts, nothing was happening. They clearly had feelings for each other, but neither was making the first move. I was determined to give it one final shot, so I orchestrated an irresistibly romantic date at Rochester High Falls, Luke's cherished spot. I prepared the scene, and it looked spectacular. I stood there, admiring my masterpiece. This must have been how Billie Eilish felt when she composed Bad Guy. My plan wasn't complete without the final touch. Two mysterious and alluring letters, one for Luke and one for Moon. Moon. That evening, they both arrived thinking the other had organized the date. I should have respected their privacy and left, but I sneaked a peek at the date and sat in a nearby grove with popcorn and soda. It seemed like they were still too shy to make the big move. Just as I was about to fall asleep, Moon slowly moved nearer to Luke's lips. The excitement was so intense that I could feel it moving through my body, particularly in my ankle. In my ankle? I looked at my leg and saw a raccoon clinging to my ankle. Freaked out, I totally lost it. Ah! I sprang from the bushes just in time to disrupt their big moment.
Alice, what are you doing here?
Oh, hi! Just taking a walk.
Around the falls? Alone? At night?
Well, you know what they say, when nature calls. Don't judge me. That's the best I could come up with. Alice, this isn't what it seems.
We were just...
Their embarrassment and guilt were clear.
I'm sorry.
They clearly felt terrible, and I felt even worse. It was entirely my fault. It was time to tell the truth. You don't have to feel guilty. I orchestrated the entire thing.
What?
You? Yeah, I couldn't help but notice the magic connection between you two. This is my strange way of giving you my wholehearted blessing. Well, at least I told them part of the truth. For a brief moment, Luke and Moon exchanged puzzled glances, and Luke turned to give me an earful. However, after what felt like an eternity, they both enveloped me in a hug simultaneously.
Alice, I can't believe you'd do something like this. You could have just spoken to me. And I'm sorry. I tried to fight these feelings.
No need to apologize. The heart wants what the heart wants. Are you sure you're okay with this? Absolutely. You two are meant for each other. I'll step aside and let you enjoy the rest of your date. I walked away swiftly, but before I got too far, I turned back to see them finally sharing their first kiss. Well, you could have at least waited for me to leave. Just kidding. Carry on. This may appear like the happily ever after ending, doesn't it? But believe me, there are still some more fireworks to discover. My grand plan had succeeded. Moon was perfect for Luke, and they were really happy. However, sometime later, I started to feel increasingly sad. While I was genuinely thrilled for them, a feeling of loneliness began to take over me. Eventually, I decided to share with my dad my deepest fear. Dad, what if I never experienced those fireworks?
Alice, just like music, love has its own tempo. It won't come if you're expecting it. But trust me, sooner or later, your moment will come.
But what if I end up with a broken heart, like you when Mom left us?
That can happen. Love is not perfect, but believe me, it's still worth it.
After that, I decided to give the whole love thing a rest. I just focused on school, my friends, and of course, music. For several months, everything went smoothly. Surprisingly, my dad was right about love. My moment was bound to come just when I least expected it.
Boys and girls, we have a new exchange student, this time from Italy. This is Camillo.
And that was it. Boom, boom, boom! Just like my dad had predicted, my moment to feel the fireworks had arrived, and it came on strong when Camilo strolled into the classroom. I couldn't take my eyes off of him. And to be fair, no one else in the class could either. He was so irresistible, incredibly handsome, cool, stylishly dressed, and smart. My dad tried to get him to sing a song to introduce himself, but Camilo instead recited a poem in Italian. I didn't understand anything. I was too captivated by him.
Ah, right. It's a very lovely and romantic poem.
Not really. It's about what hell is like.
Marry me. I knew I had to beat out tons of other girls to win his heart, but if there was one thing I was truly confident about, it was my matchmaking skills. Game on. During lunch, I went up to him. He was sitting by himself, with all the girls gazing at him from afar, too mesmerized to strike up a conversation. But I wasn't like the other girls. Hi there. What's cooking, good looking? Not my best pickup line, I know.
Hi, you.
Alice.
Oh, right, Alicia.
Already? My name, or a variation of it, coming out of his mouth made me shiver. What are you reading?
Robert Frost.
Oh, he's the one who invented frosting? Because if so, I want to congratulate him.
No, he was one of America's most renowned poets.
I felt like my confidence had crumbled like a house of cards. I guess I'm more of a takeout menu reader. Camilo shot me this weird smile and went back to his book. I left feeling defeated and humiliated, all while the surrounding girls erupted into laughter. Still, I wasn't gonna give up so easily. You guys know I can be very stubborn. Over the next few days, I did everything I could to get Camilo's attention and interest. So, you're a photographer?
Yeah.
Me too. I love selfies. And when I thought I couldn't get any lower, Camilo, I wrote you a poem.
Oh, okay.
Twinkle, twinkle in your eyes, like the stars in moonlit skies. In your arms, I feel so right, like a star that's shining bright. He rested his hand on my shoulder with second-hand embarrassment.
That was very sweet.
What was I thinking? Are we going or not? The most stunning gothic girl was walking towards Camillo.
Sure thing, Bella.
They just walked away while my hope lay shattered on the floor. After the humiliation of a lifetime, I crawled home and locked myself in my own room for days. Is this karma for not loving Luke back? Unwelcome love is horrible. Why didn't anyone tell me? I decided to never leave my room again. But Luke and Moon swooped in to save the day. Alice, what are you doing?
We were worried about you. You haven't been to school for days.
And I'm not going back. I'm officially a hermit now.
Come on, Alice. You can't give up so easily.
What else can I do? He's too cool and smart for me. And he clearly has a thing for goth girls. Well, maybe that can be arranged. Moon showed me the flyer for a costume party happening the next day at school. Maybe this wasn't quite over yet. The following day, I visited Moon's house for the first time for a unique makeover session. She was determined to transform me. And after an intense half hour of makeup and dressing, I emerged as a whole new person. Camillo will be head over heels for you. After a while, I headed downstairs to her kitchen to grab a glass of water. Moon's house was massive and a bit eerie, with dim lighting and an unsettling silence. As I turned the corner, I bumped into a tall, mysterious guy. I let out a scream of surprise. Who are you? I'm Alice, Moon's friend. I glared at him. He was wearing a suit, like a gangster from a lousy movie.
I'm Quan, Moon's big brother.
Oh, right.
Why are you dressed like that?
We're going to a costume party.
A costume party? So childish.
You're like just a year older than us. Besides, you look like you're dressed up too.
Whatever, just watch where you're going, kid.
Kid? Just then, Moon showed up, probably after hearing my screams. When I turned to face him, Quan had already disappeared down the dark hall. What? Why are you smiling? You know, your brother is a real piece of work. Moon acted weird. I think that runs in their family. Shortly after, we left for their party. Luke, dressed as a mad scientist, welcomed us.
Alice, you look like you just stepped right out of a dark and mysterious fairy tale. Great job, baby.
Thanks, baby. Alice, Camillo's there. Go do your thing, girl. Thank you, guys. I took a deep breath and walked towards Camillo, who was dancing with his friend. Of course, he was too cool to wear a costume. With a boost of confidence from my outfit, I saluted them. Hello, my fellow creatures of the night.
Alice, what are you wearing?
Tonight, I embrace the shadows. I'm a goth. Being a goth is not a costume, you phony. It's a lifestyle. I'm sorry, I didn't mean of course you didn't. You are just a little suburban princess who gets whatever she wants, playing dress up, and the way Camillo looked at me, that hurt more than any malicious comment. Once again, I was humiliated. For the rest of the party, I hid in the halls of the school. How could I be so stupid?
Should I respond?
I looked up and saw Quan. What are you even doing here? I thought you were too fierce for a costume party.
I am. I'm just here to pick up Moon.
I just got her text. She already left with Luke.
Oh, okay.
Quan leaned his back against the lockers.
Rough night?
That's an understatement.
So, do you want me to take you home, or would you rather stay here crying?
What? These are not tears.
Don't try to tell me you got something in your eye. Come on, let's go.
I was shocked. He was rude, definitely, but not that bad. Quan held out his hand for me to stand up. As I was getting up, our eyes met. Time stood still. Electricity. And yeah, it happened again. Boom, boom, boom.
What, did you hit your head or something?
No, it's just that, I don't know. Forget about it. I'm fine.
If you say so.
As Quan drove me home, I kept looking at him out of the corner of my eye the whole trip. I was spellbound. I tried to strike up a conversation with Quan, but he didn't pay much attention to me. So, tell me about yourself.
Pass.
Come on, what do you like?
Silence.
Clearly, Quan was not very interested in getting to know me. Soon after, he dropped me home. I couldn't believe it. After years of dreaming about those fireworks feelings, I finally got them. Twice in 1 week. Plot twist, both guys are just not that into me. This was obviously karma. It was Cupid's way of getting back at me. Destiny laughing in my face. Or maybe it was just my teenage hormones. I hate my life. But what I didn't know was that Moon hadn't left the party when Quan arrived. In fact, she was in the bathroom and saw and heard my entire conversation with her brother. Although Quan didn't notice my fireworks explosion, Moon did, and decided it was her turn to play Cupid. Moon started finding excuses and forcing forcing situations for Quan and me to spend time together. She would invite me to her house, but when I arrived, she wasn't there. Is Moon home?
For the 4th time this week, she's not.
Despite how Quan acted like he didn't care, Moon was determined to make it happen. She even locked us in an escape room. I guess we're gonna have to solve this to get out. This could take a while.
The key is under that armchair.
Oh, right. Then, Moon planned a movie date with Quan and me, and then left us. Yeah, she used my own little scheme against me. We got into the wrong screening room and ended up watching a children's movie. This is so boring. Wait, are you crying?
No, I'm not. You're crying.
OMG, you are!
Shut up. It's just a beautiful tale of friendship between a duck and a shark.
After that, he started talking to me, and slowly, I understood that his whole bad boy facade was simply a shield Quan put up when he moved here to cope with this unknown and new place. He actually could be really kind and sweet. One day, Moon set up a sort of double date with me and Luke and dragged Quan quite literally into a bowling alley. The evening turned out to be an absolute blast. We enjoyed some good food, sent those bowling pins flying, and shared laughs like there was no tomorrow. Quan even dropped his tough guy persona and had an amazing time. I felt that slowly, we two were growing closer.
Great strike, Alice.
Thanks, I learned from the best.
I didn't know I was the best.
Who says I was talking about you? The only problem was that Luke found out what Moon was doing and he wasn't too happy about it and cornered me.
Alice, Quan's not right for you. He once told me,
If you hurt my sister, I'll turn your hair pink.
and he walks around in sunglasses indoors too. And don't even get me started on his weird spoons collection. Did you see the massive plastic to fancy spoons display in his room? I'm just worried you'll end up hurt.
But I wasn't very convinced. And then the next day, as we were preparing for our band rehearsal, Luke arrived with a surprise visitor.
Camillo came to rehearsal, if you girls don't mind.
If looks could kill, Luke would be dead now. Oh, that's why you said not to bring Quan.
We'll talk later, baby. I tell you, man, we have the best drummer in town.
So, he has decided to play matchmaker too.
Go on then.
During our practice, I was super nervous, way more than usual. But then Camilo did some really nice things that made me feel a lot better. I think I did pretty good in the end.
That was great, Alice. I didn't know you were so talented.
Thanks. That made me melt, literally, right there on the spot. For the next few weeks, I was caught in a love triangle with Quan and Camilo, and tangled in a dispute between friends. I felt bad, but chose to go with the flow, hoping to solve the puzzle of my heart. But things turned into some kind of competition between them, and in order to win, they went big. Luke orchestrated a fantastic carnival date for Camilo and me. Amidst the chaos, we laughed, won games, and feasted on cotton candy. I even won him a huge stuffed animal.
Thanks. Elephants are my favorite animal.
I'm more of a grizzly bear girl, but elephants are pretty cool. Then, Camilo and I rode on an intense roller coaster. In an odd moment of calm, before the car sped off again, Camilo pulled out his camera and took a picture of me. What are you doing?
I want to capture this moment forever.
That was one of the most magical and romantic nights of my life. For her part, Moon convinced Quan to take me to his favorite spot, a haven he had never taken anyone to before. It was a dark and murky place. Quan led the way, nodding to some guys. All eyes were on me, so I tried my hardest to copy his attitude. Needless to say, I failed. Quan, we are too young to be here.
Relax. What is life without a little risk?
Right, but maybe this is a little too dangerous? Okay, I admit it. I was scared, but you would be too if you saw those people there. It looked like the whole cast of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Don't worry, Alice. I know the owner and most of the guys. They are cool.
Quan took my hand, and not only did I feel safer, but I was also ecstatic. The rest of the night turned out to be surprisingly amazing. Everybody was fun and welcoming. Quan revealed his secret technique to cheat in poker, and an energetic punk band put on a spectacular show. Hours later, we watched the sunrise on the hood of his car at the highest point of the city. Hey, okay, I hear you all yelling, pick a lane, girl. But come on, deciding between Camilo and Quan is like choosing between chocolate and vanilla when you love both. It's driving me nuts too. It was impossible. Like Camilo wrote and recited to me in an open reading the most beautiful poem I had ever heard. But then Quan got us the chance to play our first gig in the same place he took me. Clueless of what to do, I turned to the greatest source of wisdom I knew, my dad. Okay, yes, I was truly desperate. Dad, is it possible to be in love with two people at the same time? My dad took a deep breath before answering.
Alice, time has taught me not to put any limits on love. Love can be many different things. It constantly mutates, so maybe it is possible.
And what should I do? I can't date two people at the same time.
No, you have to be mature and thoughtful. Take care of your feelings, but also those of others.
But I don't know how to decide this.
If you are stuck in this situation, you might not be ready for love. Maybe the best thing to do now is to focus on yourself.
And it wasn't very helpful. Maybe my dad wasn't the fountain of wisdom I thought he was. Before you guys go off in the comments, I know this is like the best kind of problem any girl my age could have. For days, I ignored both Camilo and Quan, but finally, the day of the concert arrived. Surprisingly, I was pretty calm. Well, that was until I saw both Quan and Camilo in the audience. At that moment, all my fears surfaced and I completely panicked. I couldn't face it and locked myself in the dressing room's bathroom.
Alice, what are you doing?
We have to go on stage in 5 minutes. I can't do it. This is all too much pressure. After failing to convince me to go out, Moon and Luke took it out on each other. Why did you invite Camilo? This was Quan's moment. He got us the gig.
And Camilo can't be here? He's really supportive of the band, too.
Why are you doing this? What do you have against my brother?
He thinks he's a Yakuza or something like that.
And my brother is a great guy.
But he's not good enough for Alice.
And Camilo is? He's so pretentious. I was listening to their fight behind the bathroom door. It was like I had traveled back in time and they were my parents. I had to put an end to all this chaos. I gathered my strength and opened the door. Stop! This ends now. You can't be fighting over my love life. That doesn't make any sense.
But...
No buts. We were just trying to help you, like you helped us. I know, but it just doesn't feel right. I was wrong. Love should be spontaneous and free, not something we try to control and mold to fit our convenience. It's my life and I can make my choices. You're right.
We're sorry. I'm sorry, Moony Toony.
I am too, Lukey Doofy. That's really sweet. But for now, enough with the cheesy stuff. We've got a show to give. The room was silent and expectant when we got on stage. The air was tense, but we were ready. Hello, we are Cupid and his broken arrows. Are you ready to rock?
Let's do this!
1, 2, 3, 4. The show was incredible. To be up on stage playing our music was a life-changing moment. There, I felt everything. Electricity, adrenaline, nervousness, and fireworks. And I can proudly say that it was the first of many shows. As for the guys, I decided to follow the advice of my father, who, as always, was right. I wasn't ready for love, and I didn't want to risk hurting them. I took them aside individually and told them the truth. Luckily, they both understood, or at least I think they did. I decided that I should focus on my first love, music, and that would pay off big time.
Cupid, Cupid, Cupid!
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Well, it's a good thing you are, because this is Cupid and his broken arrows!
Oh, hi guys. Yeah, as you can see, a lot has happened since the last time we chatted. Where were we? Oh yes, after our first show at that shabby place, Luke, Moon, and I promised to do everything we could to get to the top of the music world. First, we decided to go on tour. We rented an old van and set off on the road to our dreams. Well, at first, it was looking more like a nightmare than a dream. Not exactly the Four Seasons. Tell me there's no cockroaches. I can't sleep here if there are cockroaches. Of course not, Moon. Maybe just some 8-legged roommates, but I'm sure they're very friendly.
The top bed's mine.
Those first few weeks were challenging and scary, but Luke, Moon, and I stuck closer than ever. Sometimes literally. Relax, guys. Nothing bad ever happens to teenagers in horror movies, right? Initially, our gigs were confined to really small and quiet venues. Good night. We are Cupid and his broken arrows. Yeah, there were literally more crickets than people, but slowly, people caught wind of our shows. Our songs started popping up everywhere, and we gathered a group of loyal fans. It wasn't an overnight thing, but somehow we became kind of famous. However, the sudden fame had its downsides. The biggest downside of them all was him. That's Trevor, our manager. He discovered us when we were playing in a tiny, sleazy venue in Los Angeles.
Hello, kids. I'm gonna make you stars.
Talking about terror? Oh, I mean Trevor? See? It's like his name was meant for a crooked manager role. I'm just spitting straight facts here, guys.
Where do you dream of playing? Just name it.
In the forum?
That's a little too ambitious.
I'll make it happen. Sky's the limit for us.
Despite Moon and Luke's excitement, something didn't smell right to me, so I decided to keep an eye on Trevor. Follow that car! I always wanted to say that. I tailed him to the forum offices. Oh, tailed is what spies say when they follow someone. Too many spy novels, I guess. So, Trevor got out of his car, but returned as if he'd forgotten something. What could it be, you might ask? His briefcase? His parking permit? Maybe his wallet? Well, not exactly. A gun? Who brings a gun to a business business meeting. It's like bringing a gun to a business meeting. I figured he was a little shady, but he was actually dangerous. After a while, he walked out of the meeting with a big smile and put his gun back in his suit. Oh my God. That night, after Trevor gave us the news that he got us a slot at the forum, I revealed what my fierce investigation had unmasked. It's over, Trevor. I saw your gun and how you used it to get us this concert. We can't be involved in something as dark as that.
Oh, you mean this?
Trevor pulled out his gun and pointed it directly at me. My life flashed before my eyes. Moon, Luke, and I screamed in terror as he pulled the trigger. To find out what happened next, join part 4 of the story. Now relax, I'm just kidding. Trevor fired, but all that came out of the gun was water. Phew, that was a close call. Well, maybe not really. Are you crazy? Why are you carrying this with you?
For protection, in case, you know, a small cat attacks me.
And why did you use it in the meeting?
Oh, that! Those guys never water their plants. They were so dry, poor things.
Maybe I had misjudged him.
Still, if you don't want to be involved in something as dark as me, I understand. Maybe it's for the best.
No, Trevor, please don't take this personally. Alice is just like that.
Excuse me? Yes, we really want to work with you.
Great then. Are you in, Alice?
Outvoted, I had no choice but to accept Trevor. His impact was soon felt. He devised everything for us, from trying on silly, smelly costumes, which I'm sure he had stolen from the thrift store to keep the extra money for himself, to making us do some bizarre and really embarrassing publicity stunts. Yet, while I hated to admit it, he did take us to the next level. He even got us a record deal. Maybe he isn't all that bad. He certainly wasn't the worst thing that came with fame. Paparazzi were a real headache.
Hey, Alice, aren't you dating someone? People want to know about your love life.
Oh, it's a full-blown love triangle. Me, my couch, and my Apple. I mean, iPhone. Seriously? Can it get any cringier? Well, I know what you must be thinking. What about Juan and Camilo? You guys are so predictable. Okay, after I told him I was not ready for love, our paths simply parted. Camilo moved to the big city to try his luck as a poet, and Juan went back to South Korea. I had accepted that love wasn't my thing, and I was fine with that. Really, I was. But it seems that not everybody was.
Alice, people are interested in you and your love life. We must give them something.
And before I could say anything, Trevor launched his enormous Find Alice a Boyfriend operation. When he was choosing from the pictures, from his looks, you'd think he was attempting to assemble an atomic bomb. I wish you people would stop meddling in my love life. You're one to talk.
Fair point.
Must I suffer all my life for that one time I played Cupid? Besides, you two are practically soulmates. I only intervened in the name of true love.
Maybe Trevor will find you your soulmate.
If he does, he deserves a Nobel Prize in matchmaking. Haha, very funny.
Bingo! We found our man. Get ready, Alice.
Trevor orchestrated a date with one of the buzziest actors in town. Naturally, he gave the paparazzi a heads up, turning the dinner into a spectacle that rivaled the Super Bowl coverage. I won't deny that he was good looking. The man could make any Greek god jealous, but he seemed to be already in a committed and very toxic relationship with his phone. It was like they were stuck in a never-ending staring contest. If a UFO landed on the table, he'd probably just assume it was dessert. So, tell me something about yourself.
I have 5 million followers.
Wow, I'd be concerned if that many people were following me. That's next level stalking.
Huh?
Alice, when's the wedding?
This was beyond ridiculous. I needed a bulletproof escape plan. Something as sophisticated and brilliant as my mastermind can scheme. Hey, isn't that one of the Kardashians?
A Kardashian? Where?
I took advantage of the commotion to sneak out, but just as I was about to fulfill my genius escape, I bumped into a waiter sending his tray flying in the air. It landed on the head of my date. Oh my God, I'm so... Camilo? Is that you?
Alicia, hi. What are you doing here?
I was super surprised to see Camilo, but I had to move fast. I'm actually in the midst of an escape. Care to help me?
Absolutely.
Camilo wheeled over a waiter's cart covered with a tablecloth.
Your chariot awaits, Your Majesty.
I hopped in the cart, and Camilo carried me unnoticed out of the restaurant. After we were in the clear, we two went for a walk.
By the way, I must confess, I'm a massive fan.
Oh, thank you so much.
People don't believe me when I tell them we used to date.
Do you tell people that?
Well, I know we didn't exactly date, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just expressing my wishes out loud.
Are you flirting with me right now?
I am. Who knows when I'll cross paths again with another star, especially with one as strikingly beautiful as you.
He was going all in. I tried to play it cool. That's smooth, but I'm not gonna fall for it that easily. I did. I'm not the same girl I was a couple of years ago. I was. Besides, I know know you have a way with words. He did.
You know what they say, nothing worthy is ever easy.
Of course, my inner fireworks were about to start a pyrotechnic show that could rival New Year's Eve. I know, guys, I'm too weak. The rest of the night, we walked around the city just talking. It was pretty magical. The next day, Trevor woke me up.
Alice, who the hell is this?
Trevor pointed out a couple of pictures of Camillo and me walking.
We had more important things on our plate. Alice, I told you to get away from him.
Who does she think she is to tell me what to do? No, first, you owe me an explanation. Why have you left? Where have you been all these 10 years? Why have you never called? Why are you coming back now? Why? Well, I guess she owed more than one explanation. Maybe we should leave.
And miss the showdown?
Yeah, let's give them some privacy.
Yes, better. What are you even doing here in the first place?
We'll wait outside.
No, nobody leaves. And you better start talking before we start improvising a bad cop, good cop scene. And no, Luke, you can't be the good cop. But Alice, no excuses. Just spill the beans. My mom took a seat and a deep breath, then remained in silence for a few minutes. I couldn't wait to know the truth. I was impatient, nervous, stressed, and hungry too. But most of all, I was tired. Then she started talking about her life, blah, blah, blah. Some really revealing stuff and other things. And then the end. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just exhausted. It's not that easy to narrate 4 parts in a row. The life of an MSA star is harder than it looks. You know what, guys? Let's mix things up a little. I know you're probably tired of hearing my voice. At least I am. So let's hear my mom's story told by herself. See you later, alligators. Hi, kids. I'm Carrie, Alice's mom. I know most of you must hate me, but hold off until you hear my side of the story. If you still hate me later, well, don't put it in the comments. I don't think I can handle having my own haters. Let's start from the beginning. After I got married and had Alice, my life was practically perfect. Lovely family, a career climbing. Life was looking up. When Alice was finishing elementary school, my big shot arrived.
Carrie, we want you to lead the case against the Siri clan.
Oh, yes, I'll do it. Their time has come. Justice will be served. The Siri clan was one of the largest and most dangerous criminal groups in the country. They were the worst of the worst, fixing sports events, moving narcotics, blackmailing politicians, and even kidnapping kittens in their spare time. You name it, they did it.
Get ready. This is gonna change your life.
And boy, it did. I couldn't imagine at the time how much it would cost me. I couldn't tell anyone about my involvement with the case, not even my family. Still, the clan found out pretty much everything about me. I soon started receiving threatening phone calls, menacing letters, and gifts of dubious taste. The prosecution put security on us. The Sioux guys followed us all around without Alice and her father knowing. But that didn't stop the Siri clan. Oh no. A few days before the trial, I received an envelope in my office. Inside, there were pictures of Alice at school, in the park, coming in and out of the house, everywhere. I thought about calling the police, but it was too dangerous. I had to do something. So, I went to see the head of the clan, ready to put my career aside and my principles in exchange for the safety of my family. But he was a tough negotiator.
I have a counteroffer.
They not only forced me to sabotage the lawsuit against them, but also made me work for them as their legal counsel for years. They never stopped following Alice. I had no choice but to stay and help them grow their criminal empire even further. So, that's why I left, because now I'm a criminal and I can't even look at you in the eyes knowing everything I did.
And why did you come back?
After I left, I blocked your numbers, but I never changed mine. The hospital called me saying there had been an accident and I had to come and make sure you were okay. I guess I'm still your emergency contact.
Of course. There's no other person I want to see in an emergency.
He's such a flirt. Is that so?
It is, and not only in emergencies.
I think Alice's dad has the hots for Alice's mom.
You don't say.
I'm just glad I get to see you again.
Oh my god, Dad, stop flirting with her. Have you forgotten that she abandoned us for like 10 years? Are you sure you don't have a concussion? Let's call the doctors to do more tests.
I'm fine, Alice. I guess old habits die hard.
He smiled at me, and even after all these years, just like the first time I saw him playing in the subway, I felt fireworks inside. How could I help it? Look at him. He is as attractive as he was 10 years ago, maybe even more. You can tell he's been hitting the gym. Check out his arms, his shoulders, his... Okay, that's enough. This is still a family channel. I'll take it from here. As you can imagine, my mom's story was like a roller coaster for me, and by the end, I was pretty dizzy. I didn't know what to say, but at the same time, I had hundreds of questions to ask. At first, I needed some air, like a lot of air, and something to eat. So I walked out of the hospital, and then I saw it. That was really love at first sight. Thank God. I ran to it, and I ordered half a dozen hot dogs. What? Lady has to eat too, you know. Besides, can't think with an empty stomach, right? Bon appetit. Note from the MSA producers. Due to the disgusting nature of the following images, we have decided to censor the next part. Ugh, I so needed that. Now I can think straight. Let's get this over with. I walked back to the hospital, but stopped dead in my tracks when I saw Mom and Camillo talking at the entrance.
We should try to be friends. After all, we are family.
You don't scare me. And why should he? Oh, let me guess. He probably is the son of the boss of that clan, and he's just dating me because he has a secret agenda, right? No, not at all. So why should I get away from him? Maybe I got carried away. To be honest, I don't think you guys are really a match. I mean, you are a Cancer and he is a Capricorn. Those are the least compatible signs in the horoscope.
I'm actually a Scorpio.
Oh, then it's okay. You have my blessing.
Great! Thanks, Mom.
Camillo hugged my mom. Their performance was as believable as a bunch of elementary school kids acting out Shakespeare for the end of the year play. Of course I knew there was something wrong. I'm not an idiot, guys. I asked Camillo about it like 1,000 times. Why does my mother hate you so much? What did you do? But he always came up with different excuses.
It's because I'm Italian. She hates poets. She doesn't like my cologne. I think she must be in love with me.
Eventually, I stopped asking. I know it sounds crazy, but after so much time, things were somehow in order and part of me didn't want anything to change. Sure, I knew that things sooner or later were gonna bite me, and trust me, when they did, it hurt like a dog bite. The next few days were truly bizarre. My mom came back into our lives as suddenly as she had left. Every time I went to visit my dad, she was there, and the two of them together were absolutely unbearable. You guys know I'm a sucker for love, but they were too much even for me. Here comes the plane.
Can I have a bite of the pilot too?
Oh, don't start. Last time things got out of hand. Yikes! When my dad was discharged, she took care of him at home. They even urged me to come back and live with them so we could be a happy family. Before saying no, I actually considered it for like half a millisecond. But Mom was determined to get back into my life, by hook or by crook. Like some regular mom and her teenage daughter, we spent all of our time together fighting. The thing was that I was not a teenager anymore, and she wasn't like a regular mom, which made things really weird. Where are you going? With whom? What time will you be back? I want my lawyer here. I am your lawyer. Talk. To a club with Moon and Luke around 2. That's too late. You can go till 12. But Mom! No buts, Missy. It was kind of fun to make up for lost time. You're so mean. I hate you. I always wanted to yell at my mom that I hate her for some stupid thing, like a normal teenager. Although I would never admit it then, having Mom back was amazing. But still, she really had it in for Camillo. And it wasn't, of course, just because of our zodiac signs. She started playing detective, attempting to sabotage our relationship. She tailed us in secret to our dates. Remind you of anyone? I guess the apple doesn't fall that far from the tree. Of course, she didn't know about my successful career as a matchmaker. Table 5 said you would take care of their check. Since when is bread so expensive? After that, she sent me flowers and gifts from a mysterious secret admirer. Free chocolate. But that was nothing. It got to the point where she tried to kill Camillo. I didn't know he was allergic to nuts. I told you like yesterday. Oh, it must have slipped my mind. Then she went all in and planned a blind date for me and Kwan, who was a few days away from returning to Korea. I had to admit that it was a beautiful date, and Kwan looked so attractive. But I had a boyfriend and he had a girlfriend. I'm so sorry my mom put you up to this.
Don't worry, it's always nice to spend some time with you.
Won't your girlfriend mind?
I don't have a girlfriend anymore. She left me. She said my heart was still entangled with something here.
And what is that something here?
I think you already know.
Kwan smiled at me, and I blushed so much that I could have become a stunt double for Poe. You know, the red Teletubby. Change the subject, Alice. This could get out of hand. I don't know what my mom has against Camillo. She hates his guts with a passion, but he didn't do anything.
I think you should trust your mom. I know you two have a complicated history, but she must be doing this for a very good reason, and you can't keep ignoring it.
At first, I thought Kwan was only saying this because he was jealous. But then I started to think he had a point. Turns out, his words were absolutely right on target. When I got home that same night, I did what I promised I would never do. I went through my boyfriend's computer. Guys, this is me not setting a good example. Don't follow my lead on this one. Remember how I said things would come back to bite me in the butt? Well, they did. More than a dog bite. It was a crocodile bite. Among Camillo's files, I found a book about me. Yes, you heard right. Camillo was writing a book about my life behind my back. Actually, no, he wasn't writing it. It was already finished. What the? To no one's surprise, it turns out that behind it all was Trevor. He had signed over my image rights from our contract to Camillo to write a bestseller airing all my dirty laundry. For the next few hours, I read the entire book. Not only did it expose my deepest fears and desires, those I had confided in him, but it also detailed my mother's criminal history with the Siri clan. If this gets out, she will go to jail. And the worst part of it all, the book was due out in 2 days. Just as my world was collapsing, the collapser opened the door.
Hi, honey.
I was more than ready to use my drumsticks to turn him into a human skewer, but I didn't. I understood that my only advantage at that moment was that he didn't know that I knew. So I pretended that everything was fine and took the first opportunity to get the hell out of there. We're out of milk. I'm gonna go buy some.
We have milk.
But not almond milk.
Since when do you like almond milk?
Since forever? You don't know every single detail about me. Well, maybe I lost it for a moment. Once I escaped from there, I met with my mother. She confessed to me that she knew about Camillo's book. A few weeks ago, my boss told me that someone was snooping about my past and the trial. They thought they were the prosecutors, but when I saw the photo, I recognized Camillo immediately. I'd seen him in every photo and interview of you two. You follow my career? Of course I do. I'm your biggest fan. My mom found out he was writing a book, but when she tried to warn me, he threatened to reveal another big secret. My mother was betraying the clan. She was preparing a case with the prosecution, taking advantage of her inside knowledge to bring down the Siri clan once and for all. If that came out, not only would the case collapse, but we would be in grave danger. The release of the book would have the same result, so we soon regrouped with my dad, Moon, Luke, and Kwan to shut down the release of my unauthorized biography. That's a sentence I never thought I'd say. We split up and went to different districts to buy all the copies of the book that were ready to circulate. Yeah, we spent a lot of money on books. In the meantime, my mom managed to get a legal order to stop the printing of new copies, arguing that they did not have my authorization. Amazingly, we managed to stop the book from coming out. We gathered all the copies and made a huge campfire. Not great for the environment, I know. Again, don't follow my lead on this one, guys.
Anyone want a marshmallow?
You're still leaving tomorrow? Maybe you can stick around for a bit.
I'd love to, but I have to go home. But you should visit me.
Maybe I will. Sadly, our victory was short-lived. Feeling defeated, Trevor and Camillo leaked the book virtually, and it soon went viral. What ensued was absolute chaos. My name became a trending topic, and the news went crazy with my mother's criminal story. Soon, reporters were swarming my house and my parents' house looking for a comment. My phone literally exploded from the number of calls and messages it received. To make matters worse, Camillo went on TV to present the book, badmouth me, and reveal that my mom was a double agent for the government. You will pay for this. From that moment on, we became the #1 target of the Siri clan. Things were completely out of hand, and for the first time, I feared for my life and the safety of the people around me. I had to do something, but I didn't know what. Alice, there's no time for discussions. Get in the car. We have to go to the witness protection program now. We are in danger. I can't do it, Mom. You two go.
Alice, this isn't up for discussion.
No, it's not, Dad. I'm sorry. I ran between the cars until I lost them. It's not that I didn't want to go with them, but I was a public figure. The reporters and paparazzi would be after me like hounds. I knew that if I went with them, I would put them in even more danger. I needed to go somewhere where no one knew me. Oh, that's it. Quan, is it too soon to visit?
Not at all. I'm glad you're here.
I held Quan's hand as we waited for the plane to take us to Korea. I took a deep breath. It felt like walking away from a fire. Who said you can't run away from your problems?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to a new Where Are They Now episode. So let's uncover the latest on the Cupid Secrets crew. Alice's parents, Luke and Moon. They just disappeared faster than my motivation on a Monday. But what everybody really wants to know is where is Alice herself, the villain of her own story? Some say she became a Buddhist monk. Others that she had facial surgery to look unrecognizable. But something went wrong and she became a circus freak. Some even claim that she was seen living in the middle of the snowy forest, like the Yeti. But still, the mystery remains unsolved. Where is Alice?
Oh, I'll give you a where are they now, you gossip-mongering, face-twisting, snitch-ditch-twitch character hack. This villain is right here, crafting a comeback that'll knock your ratings into the next ice age. And talk about facial surgery? You should check yourself first. Wicked witch of the bargain bin, Botox, duck lips, meeting frog eyes, and a meme gone wrong disaster. No surgeon could fix that.
Calm down. She's not even here.
No, don't shut it off. I want to hear more of her nonsense. Great, now the power cuts out on me. As if everything else wasn't enough, the electricity there had a mind of its own. It always went out with the worst possible timing. Okay. You know, I'm not usually the nagging type, more like a silent ninja. Until someone turns on that spotlight of lies, you might think we stepped out of a time machine into the past. Well, almost. So this is where Alice is, in the middle of nowhere, picking up cow dung. I know, gross. I should give you a recap of the last year, but I don't really feel like it. Okay, don't leave. I will. But just because you've been putting up with me since episode 1. Before I start, like and subscribe, and don't forget to never watch MSA on TikTok. Real ones know that YouTube is way cooler. So, after Camillo's book, Quan and I escaped to a small rural town in South Korea where no one knew or cared who I was. This is nice. It was not.
At least no one will find us here.
Yeah, because no one knows this place exists. Seriously, I tried searching it on Google Maps and it just showed a shrugging emoji. Still, Quan absolutely fell in love with our new rural life. He put together his own farm, and it was like he had found his place on Earth. For me, it wasn't that easy.
Alice, collect the cow dung so we could use this for fire.
Not this again. That day, I shouldn't have worn red because it made the bull crazy mad, and he chased me all over the farm until I fell headfirst into the cow poop pile. Ugh, I hate this.
Look on the bright side. It's good for your skin.
Oh, really? Then come here. I'll make you a good hydrating mask. Stop running! Living with Quan was awesome, but it never felt like my real life. I just wasn't myself there. To make me feel better, Quan once took me to a nice restaurant in the city, but I felt so paranoid that I went with a full disguise. Maybe that wasn't the best option to keep the attention away from me. Everybody kept looking at me, especially one strange guy with a big ginger afro and sunglasses. That guy keeps staring at us.
Can you blame him with those drumsticks in your hair? And this dress looks like you committed a fashion crime.
Duh, I can't leave them out. And this outfit took hours of careful consideration and about 5 outfit changes. As Quan went to pay the bill, I turned to that creep. He vanished into thin air. After that, I decided to stay in the village and never return to the city. Eventually, I kind of got used to living there. But then, a letter arrived and changed everything. It was an invitation to Moon and Luke's wedding. I hadn't talked to anyone from home since I left. I thought they'd eventually forget about me. But turns out, Quan used to drive out of town to call Moon, and she wanted me to be her maid of honor. Still, I wasn't ready to come back yet.
Sooner or later, you'll have to face your fears.
I'll do it later then.
I have to go. She's my baby sister.
Of course. We said our goodbyes and Quan left. So
So I had some alone time. After a few days, I started to get really worried. Quan wasn't answering my calls or responding to any of my texts. I waited and waited, but no news. Finally, I called Moon, but she didn't know anything about him either. Nobody did. Before I could think about it, I was already on a plane crossing the world to save my boyfriend. As soon as I landed, I did a complete makeover to avoid being recognized. I had more important things to do than deal with the paparazzi. After that, I went straight to the police station. I knew who was behind it all. The Siri clan kidnapped my boyfriend.
Do you have any proof?
I have a strong feeling. Does that count as proof?
Maybe he just ran away from you after reading the book.
The whole police station laughed at me. I wanted to throw all their donuts into the garbage, but I didn't. I just stole a few for later.
Besides, we already captured Siri Clan's leader.
What? After I left the police station, I had so many questions in my head. Just then, I saw Trevor drive by in a cool Porsche and stop not too far away. My heart was beating super fast, and I decided to follow him. I hid in an alley where it was kind of dark. I couldn't see much, but then I heard him talking on the phone.
Keep a low profile. We can't afford any slip-ups right now. I had planned this all along. I even made that foolish Camillo reveal the clan's secrets in his book to have the leader in prison so I could take over the empty throne of the Siri clan. I did a lot for him, and that thankless man never recognized me. Now, see who the boss is? Me, Trevor, only Trevor.
The terror! He went inside, and I crept closer to the building's window and peeked inside. There he was, stood before a group of exhausted kids.
Kids, if you don't do it my way, you'll be swimming with the fish. Yes, you heard me right. You'll be forced to clean my aquarium again. Get ready. 1, 2, 3, go! Come on! Don't make me get the snorkel gear.
Trevor not only carried on with the clan's illegal affairs, but also used his power to create an academy for young talents to build his own musical empire. The police weren't helpful, so it was up to me to stop him and save Quan. Time to bring down his criminal empire. Still, I needed help with that. I needed my friends back. I'm sorry for leaving and ghosting you guys, but I really need you.
It's okay. We understand.
And we've got to find Quan.
And destroy Trevor. Don't forget about that.
They told me that over the last year, Trevor blocked all their contracts and concerts, sending his army of little singing robots to replace them. He kidnapped my boyfriend and also ruined my band? This time, it's personal. Yeah, I know. That sounded so cool, like an action movie star. So, I told Moon and Luke about my master plan.
So, your plan is to just break into the headquarters of a criminal group and steal illegal stuff?
Yeah, pretty much it.
Great, sounds bulletproof.
That night, we snuck over to their lair. At the entrance, there were 2 security guards.
Okay, we made it pretty far. Call it a night?
No, we have to take them out. So, Alice, you do it. What? Why me?
They won't recognize you with your new makeover. Distract them while we try to find another way in.
Before I could protest, Luke and Moon threw me towards them. First, I thought I could use my Riz to win them over. Content warning, guys. This might turn into a cringe fest. I walked to them, flirtatious, but I looked like I was just learning to walk for the first time. Excuse me, guys. Do you have names, or can I call you mine?
I'm Frederick.
Mike.
No, I thought your names were Google because you 2 have everything I've been searching for. Well, that one bombed even harder than my first pickup line. I need to work on my flirting game. In a desperate distraction attempt, I twisted swiftly, aiming for a masterstroke. Fate intervened. My wig slipped off. Uh-oh.
You!
So, time for plan B. What was plan B again?
Stop her!
They jumped on me, but at that exact moment, their radio started playing my favorite song. I went full John Wick mode for real. I grabbed the 2 drumsticks that I always carry around and turned them into lethal weapons. Oh, I forgot to mention that during my time in Korea, I became a black belt in Taekwondo. Silly me. After beating up those 2, I tried to find Moon and Luke, but I got to Trevor's office. I turned it inside out, but found nothing about Quan. I was about to give up when I came across something mind-blowing. A manuscript from Camillo, Cupid's Secrets Part 2. A sequel to my story. Yeah, my head exploded. Quite literally. It detailed with amazing precision my life in that little town in Korea. Every little part of it. How the heck did he know all this? Then, as James Bond's villains, they appeared.
Oh, look who's here. So good to see you, babe. I love your new style, but ew, you smell like cow poop.
Trevor and Camillo were at the door of the studio. I lunged at them. You fuck! But an army of guards appeared out of nowhere and held me.
No dear, this is not a kung fu movie. Guards, just take this little rat away.
Trevor, wait. Don't be so hard. She is my ex, after all. Alice, I know what you must be thinking. How did I know all that? Just take a look at the notes.
I looked at the notes. It was some kind of daily report, a really complete one. Then my heart stopped. The name that signed all the notes was Quan. It isn't true. Quan would never betray me like that. You're lying. Tell me where he is.
Well, you thought the same about Camillo, and look where that got you. You see, Alice, everyone's playing their own game. Quan, in this case, is playing hide and seek. Hide until the book is out and seeking a fortune.
He's gonna be rich, and he just had to sell us his relationship with you. A bargain, if you ask me.
Tears began to roll down my cheeks. Once again, my boyfriend stabbed me in the back.
I told you it was a mistake to fire me, kid. Now leave with your dumb friends. And Luke, just a piece of advice. Next time, don't yell when trying to sneak in somewhere.
Oh yeah? I was caught in a half-open window. What should I have done?
Probably not screaming like a maniac. Push my butt up! Push my butt up!
I was completely defeated. I didn't even fight back when his goons kicked us out.
Don't go too far this time. I need good material for our next book. Remember, all good things come in threes.
Luke and Moon kept asking me what happened inside, but I didn't say a word. I just said goodbye and went straight to the airport to disappear once again, and this time for good. Just as I was about to board the plane, I got an audio message from Moon.
So, remember that our wedding was supposed to take place today, but got canceled after Quan disappeared? Well, surprise, it's happening, because Quan is back. What? We couldn't find another date available for over a month, so we're gonna get married now. We're just waiting for you. Hurry! Furiously, I rushed out of the airport to confront him. Still, I did a quick pit stop at the hairdresser. Then I did my makeup and put on my dress. What? I was still furious, but it was a wedding. I had to look great, and I did. I burst into the ceremony, and I saw him next to Luke, who was waiting for Moon at the altar. I dashed toward him like lightning.
Alice, you look...
Wonderful? Beautiful? Yeah, I know.
What's wrong?
What's wrong? Are you for real? Let's see. Where should I begin? Maybe by the fact that you disappeared from the face of the planet for days?
You told me to do that!
I did what? Yeah, we were being really loud in a church, and everybody was staring at us.
Guys, maybe we can discuss this later?
When did I tell you to disappear?
You sent me a message saying that I should hide and get rid of my phone because the Siri clan was after me. So stayed locked in a hotel all this time. It was quite boring, by the way. I even learned how to walk on walls. I'll show you later. But I couldn't miss Moon's wedding, so I'm here. I'm so glad you're here today too, by the way.
That didn't make any sense. I hadn't sent any message. She was lying again. What about the book? Yeah, I found your little report notes.
But how?
You wrote everything. All our private moments and secrets just to sell them to Trevor and Camillo?
Wait, what? I did write all of that, but I didn't sell anything. I lost them at the airport.
Like I'm gonna believe that.
I would never sell that. I just took notes of everything because, well, it's quite embarrassing.
More embarrassing than getting your butt kicked in a church by the bridesmaid?
Okay. The truth is I wanted to write my own book about you. To show the world how nice and cute and wonderful you truly are.
Yeah, this is the part where you go, aww. Still, at that moment, I was confused and shocked. I didn't want to believe him, but when I looked into his eyes, I saw that he was telling the truth. I felt so embarrassed. But then I saw him hiding among the rest of the guests. That weird-looking ginger afro guy that used to spy on us in Korea. Stop that guy! He ran, and I chased after him. Just when he was about to escape, Moon appeared, rocking her wedding dress and blocking his way. He turned around, and I hit him with a crazy taekwondo kick that sent his afro and glasses flying. He was Camillo. He had followed us to Korea to spy on us, and when he found out about Quan's notes, he stole them from him at the airport. As if that wasn't enough, he and Trevor sent the message pretending to be me and telling Quan to hide. Why the heck are you here?
I needed to see the showdown. It's the ending of my sequel.
You and your freaking sequel. I'm gonna kill you right now.
Let me.
Quan stepped forward and headed for Camillo. He grabbed him and shoved him, ready to punch his lights out, but I stopped him.
He deserves it.
But he's not worth it.
Yeah, the last thing I need is to get punched by a farmer.
I turned around and slapped Camillo so hard he spun like a startled ballerina. When he finally stopped twirling, Moon gave him another slap, sending him into another whirlwind. But I wasn't done with him. Listen to me good, you hack of a writer. I'm about to end your whole career. First, I took care of Trevor. I sent Luke, disguised and armed with a camera, to his music academy. Turns out, Trevor had those poor kids rehearsing day and night, like a twisted version of School of Rock. He got arrested for child abuse, and the Siri clan vanished. My family was finally free, so I went to get them out of the witness protection program. When my dad opened the door, he had the longest beard ever. Gandalf, is that you?
Alice!
Dad hugged me tightly. Soon Mom joined in. I can't breathe, guys! My parents moved back to Rochester and got re-engaged. Another wedding on the way. With my mother's help, I sued Camillo for the rights to my own story. During the trial, it came to light that he had plagiarized other writers. Camillo lost all profits from the book, sequel rights, and his reputation. Last I heard, he was working as a waiter again. I said cappuccino, not macchiato, you spaghetti brain! Finally, I was free. I had my voice back. Eventually, I found the perfect place to tell my story. So, thanks MSA. They don't pay as much as Hollywood, but they are way cooler. Oh, and the rest of Luke and Moon's wedding was awesome. Our band even got together for a quick reunion show. Then we partied like there was no tomorrow. But there was. I could have never done this without you.
Of course you could have. So, what now?
My real life is here. My family, my friends, my music.
But mine isn't.
We both started crying because we knew that despite that we loved each other, we had to follow our own path. Sometimes love is about letting the other one go. Don't worry, guys. I'm not gonna end this 5-part story with such a downer. You know your girl Alice better than that. So, Quan returned to that little town life that he loved so much. As for me, the band got
got back together and we traveled the world playing our music. Many years later, my music took me to a familiar country. I took a trip to the countryside and reached a lovely farm. Then I saw him. Quan looked so handsome. I remember the first time we met. He was acting like a tough guy and I was dressed as a goth. Safe to say, we've both had quite the glow up since then. When he saw me, he smiled, and then everything. Silence. Time stood still, electricity, heart racing, and, of course, the famous fireworks. I ran to him, and that was it, guys. The end of my crazy and long journey. I guess love always finds its way in the end.